What is up, guys? What is up? What is up, guys?
Oh, we're live. Oh,
we are live.
Shit, we're live.
We appreciate you guys waiting and joining us. Tonight's going to be an epic night because tonight is a night where we go in on sales training specifically for wholesaling and real estate investing. And a lot of people want the great lists. They want the secrets on how to get the good leads when they really don't know they have a conversion problem. They don't have a lead problem. They don't have a list problem. They have a problem converting the leads into deals. And that's where our guest comes in. Correct. Do you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. We got the King Closer.
King Closer.
Literally has a belt for closing deals.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. Well, guys, I'm Dom.
And I'm G.
And guys, this is the Cash Geeks Network. And we appreciate you guys for joining us tonight. And we're going to learn a heck of a ton. We got my man, Adrian Salgado, in the building. Bring him on in, Morn.
The boy
Adrian,
closer.
what's up, killer?
What's up? I should have grabbed my belt. I should have grabbed my belt.
Oh, we'll wait for you. We'll fill in some time.
I'm gonna go grab the belt.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude, that's a guy who takes action.
Yeah, so
He just
basically,
ran and grabbed the belt.
They did. When was it? It was last year, right?
It was the Closer Olympics.
Yeah, they had a Closer Olympics.
Close to a year now.
Yeah, and they had a ton of closers, well-known closers, big names, and there it is. There it is.
Oh, quick question, Adrian. If they do the Closer Olympics again, do you have to like give your belt up, or is it a new belt?
No, it's a new belt. This one has my name on it. Yeah, they made it. It's personalized. The next person
shit away.
Yeah, the next person that gets it, then they're getting their own belt. It's kind of like
someone wins a belt that says Adrian on it.
I'm sure but trust me, there's a lot of people that want this specific belt that has my name on it.
Oh, they came after you a little bit?
Yeah, they're coming after me. They're still coming after me. They come out of the woodworks, right?
Okay.
But it's a pleasure to be here, guys. Thank you guys for having me on for sure.
Yeah. Oh, dude, so happy to have you here, and we truly appreciate you for doing this, man. Really quick, what are some of the things that people have said to you after you won that belt?
You know what? One of the things that I actually that really touched me recently is I was over here at a small event for my guy Brandon Simmons. It was like a creative finance event. And some guy came up to me and he was like, hey, you're Adrian, right? And I was like, yeah. He was like, you want the Closers Olympics? I was like, yeah. He was like, man, he's like, I just have so much respect for you. And I was like, okay, well, this is a different one. He was like, I have so much respect for you. He was like, man, I've been doing this for like 2 years now. And he was like, and I know what you sacrificed that weekend. And and that to me means a lot. And what I had to sacrifice that weekend was time with my family. It was literally my son's birthday weekend.
Wow.
Like that Sunday was his birthday. And so we were there Saturday and Sunday for the event. So I couldn't really plan anything for him. And so I made it a sacrifice to do the Closers Olympics, just because I needed to, right?
Yep.
Put our company's name on and kind of show my skills, right? I've always kind of flown under the radar. And, I let him know. I was like, hey, this is what I'm going to do this weekend. And he was fully supportive. He was there every single second. And so that was one thing that really touched me is the guy was like, that's something that I struggle with right now is how do I balance family and business, right? How do I balance family and business? And I told him, I was like, look, I really don't have it balanced yet. I said, I just have to make sure that when I do spend time with my family, if it's an hour, if it's 3 hours, if it's a full day, it has to be quality, right? It has to be quality time. And I think that's what we get stuck with. And it doesn't mean being there, right? Being on the phone and being present are two different things. Like I can be on my phone and my son's in the vicinity, like playing on the floor, but am I really there, And that's what a lot of people get mixed up is like, I can be there, but am I truly there? Am I truly present? And so when that guy told me that, I was like, man, that's the type of stuff that I get, joy out of is when people talk to me about like personal stuff that they're dealing with, not so much the sales side. I'm a growth junkie, and I'm sure you guys are as well, right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
100%, man.
That's why we're here. We're learning from you, bro.
So that's what I like to focus on. I like to see people grow. So that was one thing. And then a bunch of other stuff. People like, I'm coming for the belt. I've had a couple people that were sour that were on the event come after me and like, you shouldn't have won, or, just feeling sour. Like, I'm the real closer. I'm the people's champs and things like that. And it's just all entertainment. It's all in good fun.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you said that, as far as, you usually have flown under the radar as opposed to the direction that you're going into right now. But I feel like, the true people who know this industry, that know the companies that are truly performing, have known you for years. But like you said, that may have been few and far in between, but now you have a little bit more of a chance to get out there and show your true skills and help others and things of that sort.
Yeah, and that's what I was doing a disservice, honestly, by not putting myself out there.
Yeah,
right. I'm a super extrovert, but putting content online, it's hard work, right?
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. Putting continuous content out there, but I know, like, if I'm not doing that, I'm not letting people know what I do, and I'm not helping people out along the way. Like, what am I even here for? What am I even on this earth for, right? And so I understood, like, I have a purpose here on earth, right? I have to serve. There's some sort of service that I need to do, right? And I'm no longer worried about the riches that I get here on earth. Like, I'm trying to build my wealth in eternity, right? And that's what I focus on now. So I learned this from Carlos, right? Being my mentor, being my brother-in-law, that if you help enough people, at some point when you're down and out, there's going to be a lot more people praying that you get out of that funk than there would if you didn't help anybody out.
Okay.
Right. And so I want to know that if I'm ever in a situation where I need some sort of help, or, I'm praying for myself, whether I'm sick or whether somebody in my family's sick, if I'm praying for myself or I'm praying for them, I know that all these other people that I help make hundreds of $1,000s, millions of dollars by what I've taught them or what we've taught them in the industry on the acquisition side, those people are going to be cheering for me or praying for me just as well.
Oh, 100%.
Right. And so that's going to uplift me. And so now that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to plant my seed throughout the rest of my life.
Yeah. Cheers to that, bro.
Cheers.
So I want to just jump into it, if that's cool with you.
Let's do it.
You've been all right. Let's back it up. Who are you? Right? You run the sales team, right?
Yeah. So Adrian Salgado, I'll be turning 36 in December.
And
December 5th.
Okay. I'm December 2nd.
Nice. Sagittarius. Let's go.
I'm January 30th.
Oh, you're right there. You're not too far away.
I'm with you guys.
So
please accept me.
I started my journey about 5 years ago at the age of 30. I started off, before I even jumped into real estate, I was driving semis for a living, doing local deliveries to supermarkets here, delivering cookies for Nabisco. I did that for 10 years and I was living a good life. I was, had my own house. My wife, she was pregnant with my son, or actually just had my son at the time, 2 brand new vehicles. Like, we were living life good.
Right.
And I ended up going to a dinner with Carlos and Alex at the time. And that was the first time I met Andy Garcia. But we went to a dinner after a Sean Terry event. I'm sure you guys hear about it all the time. Everybody went to that Sean Terry event, the Flip to Freedom, where it sparked something. Well, I went to a dinner from that event with a bunch of local investors, people from out of state. And I was just holding conversations with all these people. And I ended up catching the bug there, right? I didn't care. I had a guy that was sitting across from me that was like 45 years old at the time. I was 30, and that he had just quit his job and that he had made over 50 grand that month. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, it's not too late for me to change the trajectory of my life at the age of 30. Right. I'm already starting to dwindle down. I'm starting to crumple up and die at this freaking 9 to 5, right? Where I'm just trying to figure out, how am I going to save enough money to retire and find a part-time job?
Right.
And that's the mentality that a lot of people are brought up with. And so I caught the bug that night. I called Carlos up the next day. I was like, hey, teach me real estate. He was like, sure, come over. I came over and I watched as he started to progress, right? I watched him do his first couple bandit signs. I watched him do his first couple fix and flips. And it never really interested me. And I always say this, don't get caught in the right place with the wrong mindset.
Okay.
And that's where I was at. I didn't have the mindset if there was more out there for me. I was comfortable where I was at. I was complacent. And Carlos brought me on the team, and it was me, and there was already a couple other guys trying to do acquisitions for them. And I literally stuck to Carlos like glue. I was stuck to his hip. Anytime he made a phone call, I would make a phone call right after him and mimic everything he did. Every time he went to an appointment, I would go to that appointment and mimic everything that he did. You know, he would give me polo shirts to wear with our company logo on them. I wasn't even working for the company. So at that time, I was working 2 jobs. I was working my normal job, working graveyard shift from midnight to 9-10 o'clock in the morning. And then I would go to the office and start making phone calls from like 11 till 6 o'clock at night.
Damn.
And I did that on straight commission for about 3-4 months before I finally landed my first deal. And Carlos actually didn't want to give me a job. He didn't want to hire me on as acquisitions manager. It was too much responsibility for him. If I were to quit my job where I was at now, join him here, and then try to go along for the ride, and if I failed, the family's going to look down on him and say, you completely ruined his life.
Right.
You sold him a dream and it wasn't there. Right?
Yeah.
So Sal was the one that actually gave me the opportunity. He said, I want you on the team full time. And so March of 2017, I quit, put my 2-week notice in, and I started working with these guys. Started off as just an acquisitions manager, started being the top producer consistently over and over. And then finally, just about 2 years ago, I was put in a position to where I could start overseeing the acquisitions team in the sales director seat, right? So now that's where I'm at now. I'm sitting here at the sales director seat. I got 5 acquisition guys and girls underneath me. Wow. And we're all responsible for bringing meat to the table. I'm still on calls every day too, trying to make a deal happen. Nice. I mean, it's what I love. So, fast forward, produced millions of dollars over and over every year that I've been in the company. Produced over 6 figures for myself, take home every year for the company. And it's not too late for anybody. And that's what I've realized. And that's what, that's why we do what we do at this point now, is like, I want to change people's lives.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Hey, really quick, for everyone that just came on and joined us, we've got Adrian Salgado on the show. He is, what's the title from the Closer Olympics?
King Closer.
King Closer. He's the King Closer. He can convert deals. He's an expert at it, in my opinion. And I also want everyone to know that this is an interactive show, right? Any questions, comments, anything that you want to go ahead and contribute, go ahead and ask your questions in the feed. And we'll do our best to get to everyone's questions and comments as often as we possibly can. One thing I wanted to ask about is in a sales environment, right? In a good, well-run sales environment, it can get pretty sharky, right? It can get competitive. So it's always been impressive to me when you add females to the team as well, and you have a good lady shark closer. I think that adds a good dynamic to the team. So I'm curious, we haven't had the opportunity to experience that yet. We're working on it, but how does that fit in your sales environment?
It was the direction I had to go. I was trying to bring guys on, and they either wouldn't mesh with the culture, right? Okay. Or the other guys, trying to dominate, would kind of, figuratively piss on their legs all the time, just marking their territory, right? And so I try to find somebody that would join the group and be one of the guys, because, what we like to do is, it's not so much that individual performance anymore for us. We've done that, and it's not, what did you say? It's not scalable if you have everybody pulling in every direction, right? Mm-hmm. You have this person focused on what he can make. You have this person focused on what he can make. You have this other person focus on what they can make, right? So recently we started to go as a team, like, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is our quarterly goal. And when I was trying to bring males on, none of them they were just too soft to be around us. They were too soft. Yeah, it was too soft. They would just kind of get pushed away, or they would come in trying to look for that companionship. And I try to tell them, like, don't seek that companionship first and foremost. I said, you're not here for that reason. You're here to make money. You're here to land deals. And they just couldn't get that. So I was like, how can I add to the team without diluting the culture here, right? And trying to stir the pot. And the only way I thought about it was, let me add a female to this. Right. So I added two females at the same time. And within their first week, they both locked up 2 deals each. So we got 4 deals out of these 2 females that just started in their first week in calling. And the guys are excited. Yeah, the guys are excited. The guys are like, man, look at these girls. They're killing it. So now it doesn't feel so much like a competition anymore. It feels like another team. Right? It's like a co-ed softball team at this point.
Right.
Very cool.
So Brad Chandler's asking, how many females do you have on the team? Still 2?
3. We have 3 now. Three males and 3 females.
Oh, wow. And you're one of the males?
I'm one of the males.
Are you sure you're not a female?
And I don't identify as one unless that's the only restroom that's open.
But if you have to identify as one to get a deal, you probably will.
Yeah, I've identified as several things to get a deal, man, by any means necessary, right?
Nice. So Joseph Castaneda is asking, what do we have in our cups? What do you have in your cup, Adrian?
I'm drinking Clase Azul, some tequila.
Oh, okay. I don't know, but it sounds fancy.
Dude, keep drinking. We need more secrets. Keep drinking. I'm
here. All right, man. I'll chug, right?
I have a little Tito's and soda, and then G has a Corona Light.
I just chugged my beer, but it's all right. The team is on the way. Warren knows.
Warren hooks it up.
Nice.
Awesome. So that's a very cool, just a dynamic of a sales team to have. It's exciting to see when we get to a place like that of how that works together. How the males and females mesh on the sales team.
Well, the girls actually just challenged us today, being the first this month. It's guys versus girls to see who's going to bring the most deals up. So that's our challenge for this month, and it's going to be pretty exciting.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So I think your wife said he's definitely a male. I can tell.
Thank you.
I think that's Sierra is your wife, right?
Yeah, that's my wife.
Okay, yeah.
Hi, babe. Love you.
Awesome, man. So you've been doing acquisitions for a long time now, right?
A little over 5 years.
And I'm sure acquisitions has changed for you, right? The market is different, different techniques, things that we were using 5 years ago may not work, in today's age. So what are like some of the things that you feel you guys are doing different now in today's market and today's sales calls that is different from the traditional acquisition stuff that people were doing years ago?
Well, I can tell you one thing right now is, like, even 6 months ago, us picking up properties at like 40 cents on the dollar, 50 cents on the dollar, even here in Arizona, like those times are slowly like disappearing.
Right.
Where our competitors now, Open Doors, Zillow, OfferPad, they're buying at 110% in our market.
Right.
And it's hard to compete with that, right? At that point, it's just about the money. But one thing that hasn't changed for us is the 4 phases of closing. It's the structure that we have in our sales process, right? And that's what we teach. It's every call is going to have these 4 phases. It's going to have a contact. When you contact the seller, there's going to be a rapport building stage. There's going to be a negotiation stage, and then there's going to be a close. And that's what we've implemented in our business to kind of stay on track. But what's changed also as well is like those times of it not being about the money is getting a little bit difficult. So going virtual or being virtual, opening ourselves to a bunch of other markets, that's where the majority of our wholesale deals come from now. is we opened up a nationwide campaign, and so now we're getting leads all over. The country, and most of our wholesale deals are coming from these small markets, right? The most of our deals are coming because anything that we do get in our market, we're fixing and flipping, right? And so now we're fixing and flipping, and that's one thing that's changed for us also, is we've been able to generate enough revenue and to get enough private capital to where now when we make offers, it's because we're making offers because we're going to buy it, fix it, and flip it. We're not looking for a wholesale anymore. Right? So that's what we're looking at, and that's been helpful for us. We fix and flip in Arizona, Nevada, and California, and then we wholesale in every other market that we're in.
Oh, wow. So do you feel like the negotiations in your team or with sellers, when you're trying to lock up a deal that you guys are actually going to buy to fix and flip, do you feel like your conversion is higher on those?
Yeah, because we can offer a little bit more than what a wholesaler is trying to offer.
Right.
And we're direct to buyer, so it's like, or direct to seller, so it's like, if you're trying to nickel and dime for a $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 wholesale fee, I can blow you out of the water by giving them $20,000 extra and still make a profit.
Right.
And so that's what's been helpful for us. That aspect of it, it's helped us convert more deals. We're able to be more aggressive because we know, like, okay, this is how much we're really going to spend on the property. This is how much our holding costs are. This is how long we're going to hold the property, and this is what we're going to sell for. So if we can make anywhere from 20 to 30,000 on a flip, and it's a quick one, let's go ahead and do it.
Right. Gotcha. I have a quick question with regards to that, because sometimes you're actually buying as a cash buyer. Sometimes you're wholesaling, and you said in your market, a lot of it is really leaning toward fixing and flipping, so you can be more competitive. And this is kind of piggybacking on your question. Sometimes with wholesalers, it's very difficult for them to get their minds wrapped around the fact of performance, right? Am I the one who's really performing on this deal, right? So if you actually are a cash buyer, you take the position of a cash buyer, and the deal is based on your performance, like you're going to buy it without the shadow of a doubt because the numbers are there. Like, I feel like in a lot of wholesalers' minds, they try harder on those because they believe in their performance. As to where if you're going to wholesale it and you don't know if the deal is going to sell or not, you can't talk to a seller with that same confidence. So some, even our team members or a lot of wholesalers, how do you get your brain wrapped around the fact of talking with confidence, whether you are the end buyer or not?
So we strongly believe in purpose over profit, right? Purpose over profit means that it doesn't matter what the profit is. We're here and we're talking to the seller because the seller is in a situation or a scenario that they need help out of, right?
Right.
So that's the first take that we do. That's the first direction that we take whenever we're talking to a seller. So don't worry about how much you're going to make. Worry about how many problems you can solve for that seller. Because, I mean, you guys know just as much as I do, the more problems that you solve for a seller, the more money you actually make, right? And if you're only solving one problem by giving them the amount of money that they want, and you're not solving anything else, you'll run yourself into a situation where it's like you may not perform on a deal or not, right? So that purpose over profit thing is mentality is the first thing that we do. And then the second thing is anytime we teach acquisitions, we teach it based off of that, the investor mindset, because nobody gets into this business starting off in wholesaling to be a full-time wholesaler for the rest of their lives.
Right.
That's not why people join this. People get into wholesaling because it's quick capital, so they can go on and do whatever they really want to do with real estate, whether it's fix and flip, whether it's buy and hold. And so if we teach, and I teach this to my guys and my girls, is like, I need you to have your investor goggles on. You need to act as if every customer that you're talking to, that money's coming out of your pocket to be able to perform on that. And now when they have that type of mindset, now they go into that conversation of like, okay, I'm not just going to throw shit at the wall and try to lock up this deal super high to try to see if I can find a buyer. I'm only going to lock this up if I know I can get this deal closed.
Right.
And so that's kind of the mentality that we're teaching. And so to get away from just locking up random deals, right? That's why we started that 6-week mentorship that I was telling you guys about, is because people don't know how to lock up deals properly. People don't know how to lock up deals properly. It's I talk to some of these people and they're offering 80% of retail value for the property and trying to get a wholesale deal out of it. It's like, that's not going to work. No matter which way you slice it, it's not going to make it. Right? And so that's why having that mindset of purpose over profit, and then having that mindset of like, every customer that I talk to, I have to deal with them as if the money's coming out of my pocket.
Right.
Investor goggles. What do you think about that, G?
Oh, I'm taking notes, bro. If that's okay with you.
It's the investor goggles, man. You have to put those on, and it helps. It makes you start to think that way, right? Because that's what we're getting into. We're getting into the real estate in a wholesale side to become investors, real estate investors, right? And wholesaling and acquisitions in general is literally the first step of you becoming a successful investor. Right? The money doesn't come on the sell, the money comes on the buy.
Right.
And that's what you have to understand for anybody that's out there right now that's looking into getting into real estate, or they're already doing it and they're having trouble locking up deals. Stop chasing a check, stop chasing a commission check, and start looking for people that need your help, people that have problems that you can solve, and watch how the conversations change. And watch how that monetary aspect of it starts to change.
Right. Hey, I think you froze up.
Oh, my back.
Oh, you're back. We back.
We back.
Cool.
So
I think that's a great point. I think that piggybacks on the comment that a lot of people hear as to where the more people you want to help, the more success that will send in your direction, right? So just try to help others. Don't think about the money. Think about the problems that you can solve and the help that you can distribute out, and watch success flourish in your direction. Is that what you're basically touching on?
Exactly. That's exactly it. We're all, in my opinion, we're all put here for a reason. Our stories are already made up, right? Our future is already set. The only reason we don't get to that successful, abundant lifestyle that we're presented with, or that we're supposed to be, is because we mess up our own selves. We start to make our own decisions, and we start to, stray off track. Like, we start to force the timing, right? That's another thing for people. They try to force the timing. It's like, I want to get rich now. Well, it's like, it's not going to happen on your time. We're not here on your time. The blessings don't come on your time. The blessings come on God's timing. And so that's what you have to be aware of. You have to trust the process. And patience is the ultimate virtue.
Right. Dude, that's deep, bro. I love it. So,
well, I think that's what a lot of people don't realize is you have to go deep.
Yeah.
You have to go deep. You have to truly want to help people. And I think the success lies in between those two parts.
Yeah. And I think what you're hitting on is like, when you talk about these acquisition trainings that you do, the biggest thing is getting in that investor mindset. And that investor mindset means, not just talking numbers and properties, but in that investor mindset of believing in what you do and going the extra mile and being excited when you hear a no, being excited when you get hung up on, that mindset will change acquisitions completely. And it has nothing to do with what you're saying on the phone. It's just mindset. And if you have that right to begin with, everything else will come. But without that mindset, everything else is just way harder.
Yeah, it makes it more difficult. It's like walking through a hoarder house, right? You're climbing over all this shit. If you have your mindset all messed up, you're just climbing over all this shit, trying to get pictures of all the rooms. But if you run into a hoarder's house that kind of left you a trail, you know where you're going for the most part.
Right. So, what would you say is one of the biggest things that your team does different than most other investors out there that makes your team so powerful?
One thing that we do different is, we truly care about the client that we're dealing with, right? We're not just looking at them as a lead. They're not just a lead, right? That could be somebody's grandma. That could be somebody's mom. That could be somebody's brother that's in that situation. Somebody close to you. You could have been in that situation before and you needed help, but you couldn't get it at the time. So you have to think about it that way. So what we do different from a lot of other companies, a lot of other investors is we truly try to help the person regardless if we're going to get the deal or not. Right? I don't care if I'm going to get the deal. That's great. My duty and our team's duty is to put you in a much better position after the phone call with us than you were before. Right. And if that means that you have to go with another company to get a deal done, then guess what? That means that you have to go to another company to get a deal done. Maybe we're just not the buyers for you, and that's okay. But as long as you're going to be in a better situation, that's fine, because karma comes around. And if I put somebody in a better situation, that karma is going to come back around in the form of a deal. That's where I was going to make 10 grand on this one. Now I'm making 60 grand on this deal. Right. And it's less headache, and it's a little bit of a down, and it just kind of goes through the process. Right. So that's what we're focusing all the time. And then our culture here, man, our culture here is crazy. I mean, you guys have been around. You guys have seen the type of stuff that we do, right? Our culture here is, I think, compared to anybody else, I mean, we're one of a kind, right? We're all in. People come to us all the time for that specific reason, is because the culture is what catches their eye. And then it's like, oh shit, and they know what they're talking about. It's like a double whammy.
Yeah, I think one of the things I noticed with the culture that they show is there truly is no holding back, right? You guys are full open books. You give unlimited information, and you're able to answer the hard questions that other people really can't, right? The KPIs, the acquisition challenges, the team building, scaling. Like, you guys, like, you're not just slideshow teachers. You guys are in the mix, in the grind every single day, converting deals, serving people, like building a true corporation that's impressive to the rest of us. So hats off to you guys for that, for sure.
Thank you. It starts from the
leadership. And I just realized I'm covering my drink like I'm in the club.
I'm about to roofie his
ass. I'm not just gonna roofie you.
When I drink his ass home. When I drink with G, I cover my cup.
If your shirt comes off, mine comes off too, man. Sorry.
I have seen you with your shirt off a couple times. I'm not gonna lie.
My wife is jealous.
That's awesome, man. So I'm interested, man. Just for me, because we're constantly changing. I'm sure you guys are doing some stuff totally different than you did 2 years ago with the team and the team structure and all that. So, like, what does your day-to-day look like? Because I know that you mentioned, like, you're the sales director, but you're also on the phone closing deals, right? So, like, day-to-day, what is your life like as a sales director for the All In team?
And can I just add to that really quick? Because I know it's a big challenge, training a team, being an advocate for the team, and also doing deals at the same time. Yeah. So I'd like to learn a little bit more about that balance, because we have those same challenges.
Yeah. And I'm still working on it. But for the most part, getting in earlier, getting in before the team, that helps me out a lot. It gets me into my morning ritual. I have a morning ritual before I even turn my computer on. All right. Before I turn my computer on, I'll read a chapter from the Bible in complete silence. Nobody bugs me. If somebody comes in and they see me reading, they will not interrupt me. That's like office policy. Nobody interrupts Adrian when he's reading. So I'll read that, and then I'll start to get my phone calls going 8:15, 8:30, I'll start to get my phone calls going, and I'll start to try to get a groove of things. That way, when people start to come in, I'm already established. I'm already making some phone calls. And that way, if people come in, my mind's already turning. So if they have a situation that they run themselves into, I'm ready to go on my end to try to help them out of that situation.
Right.
And then it goes along with the training aspect of it. You have to be, when you train somebody, you truly have to like give everything that you possibly feel like they need in that training. Because, when I first started, I wasn't training the way I should have been training. I was like, here's a couple videos. Okay, let's make a couple phone calls. Okay, now just go on by yourself and see if you can lock up a deal, right? And so now it's like training. Now I'm going to ask you questions about the training. Now we're going to do a little bit of role playing, right? Now I'm going to split the videos up into 2 days. So now you don't get overwhelmed with all the information. Now we're doing comp training like for a full day, so you know how to run comps. That way, when I let these people go, the only time that they come back to me for anything is for small situations that they really don't know how to get themselves out of. Right. And it's not for the basic stuff like, hey, what do you think this property's worth? Or, hey, what's the ARV for this property? Or, hey, how much can I offer on this one? Right. None of that small stuff. And then now with the classes that we have, right, that's taking up about 3 hours. Scheduling is something that I was never good at. But actually holding a schedule is a daily schedule is a game changer. And that's something I got from Sal is like, I used to go by Carlos does. Carlos is like, I got a call today. Cool. I'll jump on the call. Right. Or, just kind of fly by the seat of his pants. That's what I was taught. That's how I, was brought up in the game. And Sal was the one like, no, you have to every minute that you have, it has to be specifically set aside for whatever it is that you're going to do. Whether it's family, whether it's personal time, whether it's teaching, whether it's, helping your team out, whether it's making calls, all that stuff has to be calculated and has to be put down in some sort of paper or writing somehow. And so scheduling has been one thing. And then just staying a little bit later too, right? Focusing, setting yourself aside a time frame to do what you need to get done. Right. So I'll set myself aside some time in the morning to make calls, and then I'll set myself some like a 2-hour time frame, maybe in late morning or early afternoon, to make calls. And for me, it's because now I'm working on a little bit more, let's say PPC leads, right? Some warmer leads. So the conversion, it's not going to take so much callback or so much calls to make conversion at this point. So I'm handling some hotter leads. So it's easier for me to convert. So my time's not wasted.
I gotcha. So you're not cold calling?
No, I don't cold call. I follow up on cold call leads. But nowadays it's rare for people to actually cold call. Right? Yeah. They usually just grab like one VA and then they'll have that VA cold call and then they'll just follow up on leads.
Yeah, I've heard of, and I don't know if you guys do it, but sometimes, and we don't do it here, but sometimes, someone is their own independent wholesaler and they're doing their acquisition calls, or if someone has acquisition managers, they might have a session in the day, maybe the first hour or so, to cold call to get the marbles out of their mouth, to warm themselves up before they do the important calls. Do you guys do any of that?
We don't. We kind of just go over scenarios in our morning meeting. So we'll do a Monday morning meeting. Every once in a while, if I see maybe the morale's kind of down or maybe the energy's kind of low, I'll do a quick huddle and try to see what people have going on, see if they have any deals cooking, how I can help somebody push sellers over the edge. And that's another thing that I do too, is like anytime my acquisition team is having struggles with a seller, they'll send it to me and I'll jump on the phone and I'll try to push them over the edge. Sweet. So that helps as well too. Love it. So morning meetings Monday morning meetings are key for any company. It doesn't matter, right? How many people you have a meeting with yourself. You have to set the goals for that week.
Right.
And a lot of people don't even set goals. That's something that I just learned too, is like making a lot of money is not a goal. Right. A lot of people get into the business and they're like, I I just want to make a lot of money. I'm like, okay, how much is a lot of money? To somebody that's poor, $10 is a lot of money, right? To somebody that's rich, $1 billion is a lot of money, right? Where do you fall in between that spectrum? Set a figure, set a dollar amount that you want to make, set a number of calls that you want to make, set a number of offers that you want to make today. That's what I have to do with the team in order to keep everybody on track to run as a well-oiled machine.
The real question is, how much Dogecoin is a lot of money?
How much Doge is a lot of? I don't know. I have about $500 in Doge. I bought that. I was kind of drunk and high.
Dude, that's how we buy.
That's when we
Doge
bought
is
our
drunk and high.
crypto. When we were drunk and high.
The only way we buy crypto.
We bought it high. We sold it low.
Mine's still in there. I was actually just talking about it today. It was funny. I was like, "Yo, we're back up to 38 cents." I was like, "Cool,
yay!" Bought it at 71.
Yeah.
Yeah. So real quick, I know, dude, we're already about almost 45 minutes into this. We have about another 15 minutes to go. But anyone that's joined in late, guys, we have Adrian Salgado on. He's won the Closer Olympics. He's labeled King Closer. He does an extremely great job at converting deals. He works for one of the most reputable real estate investment companies in the entire nation. And if you want, you can ask any questions that you want. We are an open book tonight, and we're going to go hard for the next 15 minutes. So you guys better go ahead in the feed and ask whatever questions it is that you have.
So my man Brad's got a couple questions. Are the acquisition folks doing outbound cold calling or handling warm leads?
They're not doing outbound cold calling. And, some definition of warm lead for some people is different, right? For us, it's like, yeah, I want to hear an offer. And
that's a hot ass lead.
That's a hot ass lead, right?
Who told me?
Yeah. If they're interested and they're not asking retail for the property, we'll push it through as a lead and we'll give ourselves an opportunity, right? Because, now learning, we just recently learned about creative financing in March. And so we started implementing that. And now we find ourselves as a true real estate solutions company where if our cash offer doesn't work for you, maybe we can buy it on terms. If our terms don't work for you, maybe we can send it to one of our realtors to get it listed for you. And that's helped out significantly. So now it's like almost if you have a pulse, if you have an address, and if you want to sell, we'll turn you into a lead.
But even if they don't have a pulse, right? You'll still buy from them.
Even if they don't have a pulse, we're going to find who has the pulse and who owns the property. Yeah.
There you go. So Brad asking, how many deals per month are you signing up and how many are you guys actually closing or collecting assignment fees on?
So right now, we focus a lot on in the markets that we're in, we're doing quality over quantity because we learned the hard way. I mean, you guys are in Texas, right?
Florida.
Okay. In Texas, we learned the hard way that getting 30 deals in 1 month sounds extremely sexy. But when 20 of them fall out because you locked them up too high and the other 10 are only like $5,000 wholesales, it's like, okay, what's going on here? And that happens in some of these markets, right? You can only squeeze so much.
We love Texas because of that.
Yeah, it's funny. I think that's what you were hitting on because we did go into Texas. We were in San Antonio.
Yeah. See, and it was a lot of headache.
A lot of headache.
It was a lot of headache. A lot of deals falling apart, right? Yep. And it was super discouraging for the acquisitions team. Mm-hmm. So we started moving into different markets. We moved into into California. Our wholesale fees started increasing. So right now on our wholesale fees, we're sitting right around $27,000 to $32,000 a wholesale fee. And then our fix and flips are sitting right between, I'd say 55 and 60 on a flip. So now we're doing, each acquisition's doing anywhere from 4 to 6 deals a month. And I would say we're accounting for right now like a 15% dropout rate.
15%.
Which to us, 20% would be a little bit more. We have like a 20% threshold for drop rate. So that leads me to believe that I don't believe that we're that extremely good that every deal that we lock up is a home run. it just means that we're probably not being aggressive enough because we're not canceling enough deals.
Right.
Right. So we might be leaving some meat on the table. So roughly right now, we're doing anywhere between, I'd say 15 to 25 deals a month on the acquisition side. And, we're closing about that much, 20, about 20 deals a month. We have very small, 18 to 20 deals a month is what we're actually closing on.
Nice.
Right.
Dude,
but
that's
those,
awesome,
but
man.
those averages are
Oh,
thick.
hell yeah, bro.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
Kim Kardashian averages.
Thick on the bottom. Yeah. Thick on the backside. Yeah. And keep in mind, too, it's like our deals, like you said, our averages are pretty high up there. But it's less headache, too. And, it's easier for the acquisitions team to handle a couple of clients than a bunch of headaches. Yep. Our fix and flips, everything it just makes life so much easier when you don't have to deal with that many headaches, that many fires to put out.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree.
And if you do have to handle a headache or a fire, it's on something that's worth it, right?
Exactly. It's on something that's worth it. And, we'll take shots. We'll still take shots in some of these smaller markets where, we are making like $5,000 to $10,000 on a wholesale deal. Like I said, that pays for marketing, that keeps the lights on, whatever it is, as long as it doesn't take too much resources and too much effort to keep that deal alive.
Right.
I have a quick question on behalf of all of that, because that is truly a mindset shift, right? Some wholesalers are happy with a couple grand, $2,000, $5,000, right? Some people go to, they do 10 deals a month. They're ecstatic. They have a 6-figure month, right? Their first 6-figure month, or whatever the case may be. And then you get to the point where you start to scale. I think we're going through some of those times right now where we're at the brink of getting to what our potential is inside of this market. So we're experiencing months where the average is between 12 and 15,000 a deal. But if you're going upwards of between 20 and 30 a deal on average, how do you make that mindset shift to being okay with a lower number of deals, but understanding that the profit is really there, like, because that can affect you from a momentum perspective too. And then people on the team can feel like they're not getting there when from a profit standpoint, they are.
Yeah, they feel like they're stuck in the mud, like turning in the mud because they've gone dry for a week, right? They haven't locked up a deal for a week. And it's because of the markets that we're in, right? Where, you're not going into California and locking up 30 deals a month. You're locking up 15 deals a month. But, those 30 deals a month, we're only going to produce you $100,000, where these 15 deals are going to produce you, $250,000, right? And that's and the way to make that shift is specifically that, like, hey, look, do you want 5 deals that are going to produce you $50,000, and you're going to have to deal with seller 1, 2, 3, and then seller 4 is going to want to cancel, and then you're going to have to renegotiate seller number 5? Or would you rather do 2 deals where both of them are ecstatic to do business with you? There's no complaints, there's no concerns, and those 2 deals, shit, even if they're going to produce me $10,000 less than what I would do on these 5 deals, it's still worth it. It's like the work, right? Is the work worth the reward?
Right.
And that's what we have to tell. And when we started to do flips, that excited my team even more, because we're no longer paying on a projected wholesale fee on a fix and flip, right? We're paying on profit on the back end on the fix and flip. So if you lock up a fix and flip today, you may not get paid for it this month, but when you do get paid for it, you're making an extra $20,000 to $30,000 on that deal, where you would have made 10 on a potential wholesale deal here. Now you're making 40 on a fix and flip deal. And you tell me, do you want to take 10 now, or do you want to take 40 later? Right. And those people, and some people understand, they're like, okay, it's a small sacrifice. I'll eat ice sandwiches for this month so I can eat filet mignon next month, right? So I can go to the steakhouse every single weekend next month, right? And that's the mentality that we have. We love our steak.
Quick question on that note. I don't know if you guys have tested anything out or have done anything innovative on those type of acquisitions, because it can take a couple of months or a few months before the payout comes. Do you guys pay your salespeople any kind of acquisition fee, or do you like allocate a 5 or 10,000 assignment fee on the front end and pay the difference on the back end?
We've tried several different things. I'm sure you guys have too. We've tried several different payout strategies to try to get people that instant gratification that most salespeople need. And it never really worked out for us. You know, at one point we were doing that, like, okay, we'll pay you off a projected wholesale fee. And then we go and look at the deal and like, how much can we wholesale this for? Well, you can't wholesale it for anything. It's not a wholesale deal. It's only a fix and flip deal. So it's like, oh shit, so you can't get paid off that. Or else it's like, we're going to pay you 40% of the projected profit. And then we come to close of the table after the fix and flip is done. And we've overpaid you because we didn't really make as much profit as we thought we were going to do, because we ran into a headache and this and that. So, you know, my team, they've been around long enough, and even the new girls that we got on now, they understand that like there's going to be times where you're making just strictly your salary, but it's based off of a quarter now. It's like a quarterly thing, because in real estate, month to month basis, it's hard to pay somebody based off of that, right?
Right.
Because we're shooting for an average lead to contract of like 15 to 21 days, but now title work gets messed up and it has to go through a probate, and now it gets pushed back and this. So setting yourself up quarterly is the ideal situation now. It's what we look at now. These different pay structures, they've never really worked. This is what works for people now. And that's why the only way to supplement that of them not getting paid off of that deal right then and there is by giving them more leads in smaller markets where they can see some instant gratification, where they get those laydowns where it's like, oh, we're in Alabama and we're going to make 10K off this deal. Cool. That's instant gratification. You're going to make a little bit of money off of this wholesale deal. And then now it's just like to fill your pipeline between your fix and flips now. And that's what we have going is the entire team is like, okay, this month I have to get 2 new fix and flips, and then I'll just fill in the gaps with a bunch of little wholesale deals.
Right.
Interesting. Interesting. I like that.
Yeah. And that's true for the business also, right? The business thrives on the big flips, but you need those small wholesale deals. Keep payroll, keep the, you know what I mean? And then you have the big wins, and then you just keep the base hits. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So we're looking to wrap up here in the next 5 minutes.
Okay.
So you mentioned that, because I'm loving everything, dude, everything that you're saying, man. And you mentioned that you have a 6-week class that you do, right?
Yeah.
And the next one's starting in July, you said?
Yeah. So we've been doing this for a couple months now, a little over, I would say 3 months, 3-4 months. We've been doing a 6-week acquisitions training class. And it's a very small group. Right now in our group, we have about 40 people. This is the most that we've had. We're usually sitting right around 30 to 35. We did 40 in this last group. It's a one-on-one. Actually, it's not one-on-one. It's a group Zoom setting, virtual, with myself and Andy Garcia. So that's Alex Sainz, sales director.
Right.
And he placed a second or third runner up in the Closers Olympics. So I got first, he got third. And it's me and him, and we teach the entire class all the steps that you're going to need to talk to a seller to acquire a deal. We're going to teach you what to expect before you make the phone call, what to expect during the phone call, how to negotiate numbers with the seller, how to actually run numbers, run comparables so you know you're getting a good deal, how to overcome objections, how to cool down the seller, because for us that are already doing deals, there's situations that you run into after you've already got the agreement signed that you have to reclose the seller, or you have to put a fire out on the back end to make sure that the deal goes through. So we teach all of that, and it's not just information. We're not just a bunch of slideshows. We actually do live role playing with the entire class individually. We do live phone calls with the entire class. We have the entire class do live phone calls for us to where we can critique them. And then you also get access to me and Andy for that 6 weeks. And during that 6 weeks, if you have a seller that you're struggling with and you can't push them over the edge, me and Andy will gladly get on the phone with that seller to lock up that deal for you. And if we do so, that's 100% your proceeds, right? And we've done that for a lot of people. We just recently in our last class, we had a guy named Josh Curry. This guy, he came to our class. He was already doing a couple deals, and he had a situation where he ran into a seller that he needed some help with. I ended up locking up that seller for him. The guy made $45,000 on that wholesale fee, right? In Austin. He's in Austin. He made $45,000 on that deal. And, you know, we didn't bat an eye. We were just excited because he was so happy to make that type of money on one deal. And I was like, you know, that's what we're here for. And so the classes are 6 weeks. They go, they're Tuesdays and Thursdays. And each class goes anywhere from an hour to 3 hours long to Zoom classes. And it goes as long as everybody wants it to, basically. Right. So if we're sitting there and the questions keep coming, I'm going to keep pouring out. I'm going to keep pouring out and giving my thing. Whatever that topic is for the day, it's just going to keep getting poured out. Andy's going to do the same thing. We're just going to pour out everything because we don't want to be that type of education that's like, hey, here's all the information. Now do your best job and call me when you get a deal.
Right.
Like, we don't want that. We actually want people to implement that because that's what a lot of people struggle with is like that analysis paralysis where they're just collecting all the information and they don't know how to apply it.
Right.
Dude, that's you said awesome, you didn't bat an eye when he made $45K, but I batted an eye for you.
Dude, bro, we got some sexy deals, man. Where $45,000 now, it's like it's not that impressive.
Rare back in the day, but now with access to people like you and education and sales training and things like that, they've been becoming more and more common these days.
Yeah,
which is amazing.
Yeah.
I remember when G and I, we got our first, I think at one point our biggest wholesale was $42K for like a year.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to think that $40,000 deals were once a year deals. And then you'll get 20s throughout the month, maybe a 30 here and there. Then it started becoming to where the 40, 50Kers were once a quarter. And now they're feeling like once a month kind of deal. That funnel in with the rest of our deals.
I got a girl, Jessica, on my team. It's funny. We always make fun of her. We say she doesn't do a wholesale deal unless it's for $30,000 or more.
I'll take that from him. Please send my way.
Yeah, and she kills it. She kills it. But we teach people in our acquisitions training. That's all it is too. It's not like creative financing training. It's not like what lists to pull. It's not like any of that stuff. We only teach what we know. And what I know is how to close deals. So that's what we're going to teach.
Right. Hell yeah, man. So how can people find out more about that?
So they can reach out to me personally on my Instagram, Born Closer. You can reach out to me. I'm very, I reach back out to everybody on there. Facebook, Adrian Salgado, message me. And then closersonly.com. That website is actually getting revamped for the next class. And so you can go on there and get a little bit of information. But the easiest way would be just to message me personally on Facebook or Instagram.
Nice. Awesome, man.
That's awesome.
Dude, thank you so much for doing this. I got a list of notes ready to take action. I'm gonna make a shirt that I thought I wrote it down.
Don't get caught in the wrong place with the right place with the wrong mindset.
No, dude, it was gold. Shit.
It's all good. He'll make a shirt.
I'll have to rewatch it.
Make the shirt and send it to me. We'll wear them together.
or we won't wear a shirt.
Or you won't wear it.
Or we won't, right? Get it in the form of pasties and I'll put it on my nipples.
Nice. Love it. Hey, Adrian, man.
Oh, that's what it was. Making a lot of money is not a goal.
Yes.
There you go.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that. Shit, I might get a shirt made.
Yeah. Hey, brother, man, it's been more than a pleasure. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day to hang out with us and shoot the shit. It was a lot of fun. We got a lot of gold nuggets. I know a lot of people on here got a tremendous amount of value, so we truly appreciate it, bro.
Let's do this, man. I'm happy. You know, this one was just kind of an introduction of who I am, what I do. I love real estate acquisitions, man. So maybe the next time if we get together, if you guys allow me to come back, we can make it strictly about making sure that we promote it that way, like real estate acquisitions training. Any questions that you need answered, any sellers that you're dealing with, bring them to us and let's see if we can figure them out.
A free training hour just to get back to the community.
Hell yeah.
Let's do it, baby.
Dude, I love
it.
Man.
We're in. We'll schedule it out. We'll reach out to you after the show for sure.
Part 2, baby.
Part
All
2.
right, bro. Thanks again for doing this, man.
Thank you guys for having me.
For tuning in. Make sure you follow him, Adrian, on Instagram or on Facebook. And you guys know that we go live every single Tuesday, except for the second Tuesday of every month, which is coming up next week, right?
Correct.
Next week. So next week we actually have our live meetup. So the second Tuesday of every month we have our live meetup, and that's here in Jacksonville, Florida. The Cash Geeks Network. It's at the A-Loft off the South Side, and we'll see you guys there.
Yep, we appreciate it, guys.
All right, guys.
I'm Dom.
And I'm Dom.
And I'm G.
And this is
The Cash Geeks Network. See you guys.
Peace.